I'm a former teacher and I know that the best programming is often created and led by the teachers in the school. This contributes to a deeper level of buy-in from the staff because they've built this. They know what their students are asking for and can respond to those student requests. And so each school has their own version of MyCAP, and it's meant to be that way.
So whenever I hear about a program, I really think about, do I want this for the Warren-Prescott, and does it align with the mission and vision of our school, right? Because there are a lot of things that are offered, and there's very limited time in the school day. But this, I really thought it might be something that was good for our students. And so we began, and we really had a hodgepodge of folks that were involved. They worked as a team to really unpack what MyCAP was all about and really plan some amazing things for our grade 8 students. If we let a program into Warren-Prescott, it means that we believe in it.
When I first heard about MyCAP, my initial thought was like, what is this acronym? What does it even mean? I was like, oh, my career and academic plan. Okay, that's the question we want our students to be thinking about. Who am I going to be in the world? How am I going to contribute to society? And so I was on board. 3 years in, I'm still here.
I was a little bit worried about the implementation, but so far this year has been wonderful. We've taken a lot of time out of the school day, which has been great for doing it as like a formal class.
MyCAP was really difficult in the beginning. And now that we're embedding it in middle school, it's easier for students to know what it is, see how they can be empowered by it.
When we were designing the middle school, the mission of the school was to help students realize their personal dreams. And so we were designing all these components like mentoring and like explorations. And then when September came, I hear that there's this thing called MyCAP, and I was like, oh, so like everything we were planning already exists. So we can just do these things to augment the already existing programming for MyCAP.
So for many of my students, MyCAP is really giving them this opportunity to explore possibilities that may not have been on their horizon before. It aligns with much of the health curriculum, and that's why I think it's so important that we have it here.
So MyCAP is essential to our work that we do as guidance counselors. A lot of times we wait till like junior, senior year to start thinking about our plans after high school. Now, very early on, students will have that opportunity, and the need is obviously using some of the data points to kind of really help guide the work to support our students around their academic planning. It tracks their growth throughout their time. And so that's very essential. I totally support it.
I think at the start of any new program, I have excitement, but I also have some skepticism, to be totally honest, about how it's gonna work, how it'll look. Were schools in urban areas thought of when we designed this programming? As time went on and I saw the work that was actually happening in the classrooms amongst all of our students, particularly our multilingual learners and our students with disabilities, and seeing them actively engaged, made me feel more and more excited about the work that we were doing.
MyCAP lends itself to inclusive practices. It's reflective and discussion-based and collaborative, so it really tugged on a lot of the different learning styles of the students. They were really thinking about careers and talking about them. They were talking about next schools. So I think that's critical work.
I think the biggest success used in MyCAP here at the Sarah Greenwood has to be attendance. One of the things that we aligned with MyCAP and leading to these educational field trips was that you had to meet certain requirements, just like you do in college. So we wanted to have those early conversations, but then also those expectations around academics that are very important, and to have them realize that it starts now. The students rose to the occasion, their attendance improved, the GPA improved, because they were really hard to get there.
I believe the biggest success of the MyCAP program is the relationships that have been built. working with MyCAP has really allowed our staff to get insight about the feelings of students, what they need, what they're thinking about for their future. They knew people were invested in them. It was something that they looked so forward to.
We had MyCAP during advisory time, but it naturally evolved into students coming to find their trusted adult. We were applying to schools. We were having really serious talks about the future, and students were forging relationships with teachers in that way who they trusted to have these conversations with.
MyCAP also tells us school counselors, like, we need to talk about this, and kids are ready. We're having positive conversations.
We did a culminating activity with a career fair, and it was unbelievable. Actually meeting a human who does a job allows for our students to see some representation within different communities and within different careers.
Whenever they have to input their SMART goal, it's allowing for them to just like pause and think about the action steps, right? Because I know a lot of my babies, they'll say, oh, I just want to get money. Yes, that's cool. But like, what are your action steps really looking like? What is this timeline that you're giving yourself? Who is it that you can check in with to make sure that you are making those steps towards that goal? And so once they understand the reason behind it, we get more buy-in. Like, they'll tap in and they'll lock in and they'll get it done.
Having this time and space to support the students in a productive way changed how they applied to schools, what schools they were considering, and ultimately, for some of them, what schools they ended up going to. A few of our kids are going to a medical technical school in the city, and some of them didn't even know that it existed before. So getting to give them the facts and give them the support to make the decision that was right for them, just seeing the difference in the class that I taught last year for 8th grade and this class, they're going into high school a lot more informed, going to a school that will be a good fit for them. And they're like so excited about it.
So one tip I have for schools that are just starting MyCAP is to bring in the staff to brainstorm how they want MyCAP to be in their school. The availability for creativity within the school allows people to be more invested. And I appreciate that so much because that's how it doesn't just become a checkbox.
For anyone that's involved with MyCAP in their beginning stages, maybe start off with like probably 1 or 2 grade levels, stick to something maybe small and then build it up to kind of really see things happen that way. I think that's probably the best way to go.
One of the things that I would say to start with using MyCAP is getting parent involvement. To talk to families about how to have these conversations with your child in regards to college and career opportunities and how you could sort of support them in their growth.
One piece of advice would be to really look at their schedule to see how they can implement with consistency and protect that time at all costs, and to articulate to students that they are in this for the long haul to ensure they get the foundation that they need to be successful in life. I would also say to reach out to different schools that have implemented MyCAP and see the different ways in which they've done it. Really think about what is the model that works for my school and my population.
I know what it's like to be an educator with having something else on your plate, but there's really value in this work. It's gonna take some time, all right? Be patient, be patient. It's gonna be beautiful, the conversations that you'll be able to have with these students.
I think really what MyCAP requires is some sort of a champion. Having that person who says, this is important to me, this is important to our students, this is meeting a need that we have, and who wants to hold that work, that's really all it takes.